Hey guys, welcome back to Flying in Space with Planet Head. Uh, I have no idea how long this video is going to go. It could go short. It'll probably go long because I am doing this at well, it might go short because I'm doing this at a strange time, but it might go long because I have a bunch of stuff to go over. Um, so I'm not sure how I'm going to title this video. It's either going to be 5 points I've learned from experimentation in Eve or something to that effect, or end of an experiment, and or um, uh, I don't know. Uh, don't worry, I'm not ending my account or playing Eve. I've been thinking about this the last day or two or three. If you have been watching this series of videos, I've been doing an experiment where I have not used any Eve gates. And I've only been traveling from wormhole through wormholes and limiting myself with that as an alpha character to see and force myself to learn a few things. So while I was at break last night at work, I pulled up a Google Doc and wrote down the 5 things I've learned doing this experiment. Why? Because I think it's time to kind of end the experiment and actually continue playing with Amanda Rose and William, but grow from it and take the things that I've learned to move on from that and maybe take on a new experiment. I don't know what that is. Um, as if you've seen them before, I did do a series before this called 100 Days of Playing as an Alpha, which I learned a ton with. Even before that, I was trying to get back into Eve. I did a bunch of videos on that were really bad. As I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and when I got onto the experimentation side of it, with that 100 days, um, I really liked it. So I carried it over to this one, and the experiment I originally thought about for this one was, could I live out of a system for, forever? And I quickly decided not to do that because that would just get probably boring, maybe in a perfect system or something like that. So I went with only flying through wormholes, not using Eve gates. And if you've watched the videos, I think this might be video number 45. What I've had to do, I made some mistakes along the way. I made some mistakes with Mr. Pilgrim here, and then carried it over to Amanda. But I've learned a ton. Um, that said, I don't know where I'm going with this just yet, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to be branching out right away. What I will say is the video that I posted yesterday, where I was kind of after I made the video, it got me thinking really hard about the video and the recent videos that I've done and how they've gotten away from the whole wormhole experience and doing the experiment that way. And I found recently most of my videos have focused on experimenting with ships and building ships and being back out and staying. I haven't been back over Has Team, and I want to get back out into the exploration realm and trying different things out. So I'm saying I'm not going to be limiting what I'm doing uh, anymore, but I'm going to be doing it probably in a structured way, and I may come up with a new experiment, but I'm not sure yet. Until then, I know what I want to do, and that's have fun. Okay, so uh, I did write up the 5 things that I have learned over the last 40 episodes or so, and let's just pull up Google Docs here. There we go. And I'm gonna you'll tell I can't make videos. I did not take the time to edit this video. I just wrote up a Google Doc, and I'll show you that here. And then very general, I'll just talk about each one. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Um, and then after that, I've actually got some other news. So this video may go a long time, or maybe I should do 2 videos. I don't know. Um, but I could go into why I'm more reasons why I'm not going to. Maybe I'll do that after the video. But I want to get into the 5 things I learned or relearned using only using wormholes. Now, the things that I learned were mostly from, and there were more things I learned, but these were the 5 things that popped into my head last night. Um, this is terrible. 5 things I learned. There we go. Um, Most of the things that I learned were things, and some of them are simple, but very, very helpful from comments that you guys put into the YouTube sections, and also comments that you emails that you sent to me. This was just a quick thing that I thought of last night. Now I may have some more down the road, but I just want to go through them. And so let's scroll down a little bit here, um, in no particular order. So this is not my top 5. This is just 5 things I did, though they are numbered. So one of you guys actually said, and some of these are going to be really quick. This one's a really quick one. Um, when I was scanning down wormholes and saving spots, I was basically saving the warp into spot of, when you scan down the wormhole and it says it's, 15 AU away from you, so you fly to it and then you're about 7 AU away from the wormhole. Um, or I'm sorry, 7 kilometers away from the rest, so you still have to travel. One of you guys actually pointed out to me that to save that spot, don't save where you're at. You can right click on the wormhole and save that spot. I know that's really simple, but it was something that I wasn't doing. Other things, so that's a really simple one. You can right click on all sorts of things. There's other things that I did with save spots in this that I already knew from back when I used to play that reminded me, but this was something that was brought up to me that while I should have known it, it's a very simple thing, but I never tried it. So boom, that's number one. Um, Number two, this was something I never really thought of prior to living in both low sec and null sec and wormholes and only traveling between those 3 areas, is the player enemies. And I'm not saying the NPC enemies, I'm talking about the people that are out there that could try to kill you and how different they are. And I don't want to go. I'm going to generalize this, but maybe you guys kind of feel this. Um, I remember when I first started playing, I was deathly afraid to go into low sec. I'd heard all these terrible things about it, and it turns out what I have been able to tell is, as far as specific players, and this is just a general feel that I have, specific guys who fly into systems and out of systems, low sec is actually the safer of the 3 between null, low, and wormhole space. Let's type that in here, wormhole space. Beep, 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 space. Not wormholes, wormhole space. Um, because, let's make this a little bit easier. See, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm never going to pull this up again. Oop. Yeah, I'm terrible with this. Um, so, my general impression is that I was able to get around in low sec, and every once in a while I'd have somebody try to kill me. But in general, I didn't have to worry about. I wasn't flying through gates, so I didn't have to worry about that. But very rarely did I see any combat scanners or combat probes, things like that. Every once in a while, somebody might say something, but they wouldn't spend a whole lot of time going after me. Wormhole space was the opposite. There's a paranoia about being in wormhole space. Basically, if you're out there and somebody else is out there, they're probably trying to kill you, unless they're in a exploration ship, or they could reship up and try to kill you. And so that became really kind of cool as a interesting uh, deluge. Kind of I didn't use the right word there, a feel of gameplay. And then, but usually it was a singular person, maybe 2 people, but the combat probes showed up. And then, ironically, when I first got back out to NPC nullsec and was doing it for the first day or 2, day 1, somebody was chasing me around system trying to kill me. Now, I saw a lot less people there than I did see in lowsec, um, but uh, they were much more controlled, and in general, if they weren't flying an exploration ship, they were hunting or they were trying to kill somebody. I saw a lot of sabers there. I will see sabers there. I'm not leaving. Um, uh, and I saw there you can have your warp bubbles, wormhole space. You can have your warp bubbles too. I was only in one system, so I can't say outside of it. But of the people that were in the system I was in, um, the differences too is low sec people seem to want to talk to me and give me pointers. Wormhole space people would drop me emails and say, "Hey, you're not using sister core probes." They were actually helpful. Null sec people, nobody said a word to me yet, other than guys who've come out to visit me. They've got their own thing they're doing, and they've got their own group, and they're protecting their space. So I would say organized, unorganized, and just opportunists. So that's number two that I learned. I could go down that rabbit hole forever. Number three, if at the middle of my videos you saw me talking a lot about scan resolution and scan probe strength, some of you guys gave me some great feedback. One guy actually sent me a message and then dumbed it down for me on the next one, which I finally got it down, what scan probe strength versus scan probe resolution does. And I will say it in general, from my understanding, is that your scan probes, when you're scanning anomalies, your scan probe strength is your physical ability to actually scan down that item or that thing that's out there. So if it takes 75 scan probe strength to get something, and you have a 78 scan probe strength, you can get that thing. The scan resolution is the variance of your scans. So um, even though you have the ability to scan it down, it actually makes it harder to scan it down, but sooner or later you will get it if you have enough scan probe strength. Where does this come and play into my brain? Well, as an alpha, you're limited to only so much scan probe strength and scan probe resolution that you can get. As an alpha, I think scan probe strength is your most important thing. But there's a level of that, and I might be completely wrong with that. Please comment if I'm wrong with this. So your scan probe strength gets so high, but you only have to get it to a point where you can scan level 5s. At that point, you want to focus all of your skills on scan resolution, because that's the one that deviates it, and that's what speeds up your scanning to the point where you don't have to go down each tick. You maybe could split up between the two. So I'm going to be very interested with that when I go Omega, to see how much the scan resolution actually speeds up my scanning. I hope that explains it. It was explained to me twice, and the second time I finally got it down, and I really felt like this 45 videos that I did on this to learn that one thing was worthwhile. And thank you so much for all the help on that one. Safe spots. So it was brought up to me a couple times, and I knew this from previously, but I learned something by doing interactions. Is I used to always have safe spots as never expiring. I would change it, and they would always unexpire. And then somebody brought up to me that you want to move your safe spots. Because if you're around an area for so long, people will figure out where your safe spots are, and then they'll just wait and kill you then, and they'll catch you on when you're not paying attention. For me, my initial reaction was, what are you talking about? I'm flying a ship that's worth 2 million ISK. I don't care if I get blown up. To be honest with you, that's what my thought was. Not that it was negative, but I was like, I don't care about that. But what I realized was there's a really easy way to do it. And number two, down the road, I just built my first cruiser. Yeah, you're going to laugh. It's my most expensive ship so far. I think it's worth like 10 million ISK with the salvage parts that I put into it. But I might have some expensive ships down the road. And that's what people want to blow up. So from the advice that you guys gave me with switching them, put um, other than specific things that I keep as non-expiring, almost every save spot that I do now has an expiration date on it. Is it A forces me to make new save spots in the systems that I frequent. Um, but the second part is it cleans things up. Now, so one thing that I would do is if I was just traveling from, let's say I wanted to go from uh, 15 jumps in a low sec system to check everything out, I would put those as non-expiring because I'm not going to be coming back to them. Those are save spots that I might randomly use down the road, and nobody's going to know that they're there. But in the systems that I live and I'm frequent a lot, I want to switch those expiration dates in, so it forces me to switch those up. I hope that explains what I'm doing there. If I'm not explaining these right, let me know. Um, Last but not least, this just came up recently in the last couple of videos. And ironically, the fact that I was doing these videos caused me to not want to do and not in a negative way, caused me to not want to continue the experiment because I want to start building other ships and trying new things. And I'm still going to salvage stuff and do them. But while I was flying my Courser and then I just started flying my Mauler, I couldn't understand the defense fleets that were attacking me, even though I wasn't attacking. When you're in pirate space, uh, when I'm currently in pirate space, Sancho space, I would fly out to a system and I would be blowing up the battleships that are there, and no defense fleet would show up. And then mining barges would roll in from the Sancho group. I wouldn't touch them. I wouldn't attack them. And I had no issues. Then suddenly they would warp off and a defense fleet would come in, even though I didn't attack that mining group. So I did do some research. We were talking in chat the other day, some of the guys who've joined the Five Bones chat. And turns out that your standings actually affect, and you can look this up on the Eve University. Just I think put in NPC flight. So I could probably pull it up here, but I'm not going to. You can look it up yourself. If your standings are negative toward a mining group, they will automatically call in that defense fleet if I read it correctly. They're not going to wait for you to shoot them. So that is one of those things. And one problem I run into is the system that I'm at only has 6 asteroid belts. And since it only has 6 asteroid belts, I always forget that my video isn't over there. Sorry about that. If there aren't any asteroids in the belt, so later on in the day when all the asteroids have been mined out, or maybe they haven't replenished from the beginning of the day, a lot of times those mining groups will just go from system to system to system every minute or two. And if I'm over here trying to kill some battleships, they're going to go through those 5 or 6 systems pretty quickly. They're going to come into my area. Then they're going to call the NPC group, and I got to warp off. So that is something where I was trying to figure out how your standings worked with stations. It looks like you can still, no matter how much people hate you, you can still dock up at an NPC station. I'm not sure. I haven't run into an issue with that. But it does affect your standings with the NPC mining groups and whether or not they're going to call in the defense fleets. So big one there, a big learning experience off of that one. And then I did a +1 on this. Not the top 5. This is number 6. Don't be afraid to call it a day. And this goes into so many different things. I'm going to say 2 of them, but there's other ones. The first one is don't force yourself to play. If you're not having fun, take a day off. I will say this. I realized I had actually done, I think, a video, like ever since I started doing this experiment, probably the last 3 weeks, one every single day, if not 2 or 3. And some of them I didn't even post. because I'm having fun. But there's certain times where you have to call it a day. You have to say, I got to stop doing this. And one of those is stopping the experiment. I'm not having fun doing the experiment anymore. I think I've kind of come across what I want to do, and now I want to grow and do something else. What that is, I don't 100% know. I know what I want to do kind of with my buddy who joined the corporation, and we've talked a little bit about finding a little home system that we can hang out in that isn't videotaped. Um, I'm formulating my plans, but I'm calling it a day on the experiment, and I think that is a major thing that I didn't know how to do whenever I first quit making videos the first time, and even quit Eve. Is are you having fun? If you're not having fun doing what you're doing, then do something else. And no, I'm not going back to mining. Um, did no, no. Um, what I am going to do is still experimenting with fits like I do. I'm not. I'm going to do it from ground up using salvage materials and then grow from there. I'm going to experiment with ships. I Another one too is the video that I just did yesterday. I pointed out. I think it was. Do I have staying up? I have the map here, and then. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, go away. Go away. We don't want you. Can we go to the universe here? I had been talking about Stain and Syndicate and the Great Wildlands, and then I looked up at Venal up here, and I had thought that it was a partial system, like partial like regular nullsec and partial NPC nullsec, but I was wrong. It looks like it is a fully NPC nullsec, very similar to those other three. I have spent almost no time up here. So part of my experimentation will be to fly out here and see if I die. That will be fun, you know. So I'm calling it a day on my experiment because there are certain things like this that I want to do. I want to do a video where you guys get to watch me try to dodge people, um, stuff like that. So I'm not saying I'm going to go in here right now, but I may wake up one day and go, I don't feel like flying my Mauler today. What can I go? Ooh, I'm going to go and see what Venal's like. I've been wanting to do that for a while. And then I'll go get blown up. And I'll record it for you. So, yeah, don't be afraid to call it a day. Last but not least, I did want to point something out. And this is just you guys out there that want to save some money. I did this 3 months ago whenever I finished off the 100 Days of Alpha, and I'm going to do it again. Um, the irony was whenever I did the 100 Days of Alpha, my reward to myself was to buy myself an Omega account. Um, and when I did that, it gave me the 50% off so I could get an Omega plus a second character. And I swear I think this has been going on for quite a while. It seems like every 3 months at this time, so it should be like end of, this is June 26th, probably the end of August, September, October, they'll give the same offer, I'm assuming. Um, and then wait, July, August, end of September, sorry. And then same thing at the end of the year. Seems like they do the same offer every year. So I can keep my two accounts and only pay for one. And I want to go Omega. I want to expand upon what I'm doing. And I can actually skill both of these guys at the same time for the price of one, and then wait until the next one pops up, if it does. Um, I'm gonna end up doing that. Now I'm not gonna do it tomorrow. I'm kind of hashing out what I want to do because before I pay something, I want to know what I'm doing. I have some time. You have some time if you want to do it. Um, this is not a pitch to get you to give money to Eve or CCP. If you want to play alpha, they give you the option to alpha. That's what I like to do. The more people who play, the better off this game is. This is just something, if you want to try this is, in my mind, the best way to do it because you're basically getting two characters for the price of one. Um, It does run through July 4th, so there's plenty of time. There's like a week until, and I'll probably wait until July 3rd till I can do it. Um, the nice part is I've got my two characters. I am saving this third slot. Why? Experimental purposes. I don't know what I want to do with it yet. I may never do anything with it. It could end up, if I do move to a wormhole, it could be that guy who sits in the wormhole the whole time, so you never lose your wormhole space. I don't know what I want to do with it yet. I'm not planning on using it anytime. I'm just going to use these two guys in the next 3 months. They'll build me a mega. Boom. Well, they'll both be a mega anyway, but they'll both be skilling up. So next couple days, I'm going to try to plan out because I'll want to take both of them and go in different directions. Obviously, Amanda Rose has been focused on Amar. If you notice here, there's some Minmatar ships sitting there for Bilt William. I haven't flown him in a while. I may set him up to go Minmatar. I don't know. So, but that's it. I thought I'd just drop this message here. There were a lot of other things I could talk about. A lot of things I've learned. If I think of any more, I'll just drop those in the videos coming forward. But really appreciate you guys jumping in recently. I've been getting in some really great small discussions on the new Thigh Bones channel. Let's just log in here and see what's going on. I'm going to play after I get done with this video. And some great guys. We got just a small group of us, but if you want to join, the chat room is 5 space bones. It is not a corp channel. It is our corp recruiting channel. I am not recruiting anybody right now. If you want a corporation that gives you a 0% tax, you're more than welcome to join up. But I only got 10 slots, and I'm going to be bringing William Pilgrim into it. So we've got 3 filled. We're going to have 3 filled. We're going to have 7 slots. But it is a channel for, I think, my ultimate goal with these channels is to just encourage people to play and have fun. So that's all I got to say. I have no idea how long this video went. Let's see here. I'm gonna say 24 minutes. 27. Okay, perfect time. So other than that, I'll probably have another video up later on. I normally don't do videos at this time. I'm kind of jazzed, and looking forward to the next level. If you guys have any ideas, anything you'd like me to experiment with or try out, please let me know. There's so many options in Eve. It could go from fleet tactics to living in a wormhole for 30 days to, only going out to NPC null, to trying to travel from the farthest reaches of ore space all the way down to the farthest reaches of the NPC space. I don't know. I just want to experiment. So if you guys have any ideas, you want me to try something, please let me know. Other than that, fly safe, fly dangerously, fly however like you want. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.